Our guest today rose to the rank of Lieutenant General in the U.S. Army. Now in retirement, she's fighting a different kind of battle, making sure no child in her community goes hungry. We'll talk about her remarkable career, her transition out of uniform, and the nonprofit she founded, and her work with mentoring the next generation of leaders.
Welcome to Your Next Mission, the nation's #1 video podcast on military transition and leadership. We tell the stories of those who served in the past and those who are serving today. From transition and financial wellness, VA benefits to mental health, we cover issues facing veterans, active military, and their families. Now, here's your host, the 12th Sergeant Major of the Army and co-founder of the American Freedom Foundation, Jack L. Tilley.
Thanks for joining us. Before we get started, though, I'd like to thank our presenting sponsors. Navy Federal Credit Union, whose members are the mission. Purdue Global, where you can start your comeback. And USA, where we take care of our own. With additional sponsorship from Blue Cross Blue Shield FEP Dental and Blue Cross Blue Shield FEP Vision. Together, they make your next mission happen. They love our veterans and families. And if you listen to the show anytime, I always say this, we love them too, or I love them too. Now I'm excited to introduce today's guest, Lieutenant General retired Donna W. Martin. Over a distinguished Army career, she served as the Commanding General of the U.S. Army Criminal Investigation Division, Inspector General of the United States Army. Today, she's a founder of the president of the Securing Our Children's Future, a nonprofit fighting childhood food insecurity in Virginia, Hampton Roads. She also is the chairperson of The ROCKS Incorporated, and a prominent nonprofit military officer organization dedicated to the mentorship, professional development, scholarship, and networking for U.S. Armed Forces officers and Department of Defense civilians. Ma'am, welcome to the show.
Sir Major, thank you. It's great to be here.
Oh, it's great to have you on the show. I always like talking to Army people because I'm just pumped up anyway. And, I know your husband's got that Marine Corps plaque back there. I love the Marine Corps, but talking to Army people just makes my day. So, hey, before we get started, though, I'd like you to take a minute or so. Just tell the audience just a little bit about yourself.
So, first of all, I'm just honored to be here. I am a native of Yorktown, Virginia. I grew up there and stayed in Virginia until I went to college at Old Dominion University. And I didn't leave Virginia until I joined the Army. And my first assignment was Germany. So, a long way from Virginia, but I rose through the ranks. I was platoon leader all the way through 3-star general. It's been an amazing career. It's been so much fun. I ended my career, as you know, as the Inspector General of the Army, the 67th Inspector General of the Army, and then had no other jobs I wanted, so I retired.
Well, I was always amazed I even got promoted, so I stayed as long as I could. Hey, you retired in March 2025, and, just what you just talked about, you had a remarkable career, and a lot of people, they struggle when they transition out of uniform. What was it like for you?
So I struggled too.
You did? Oh, it's hard to believe.
I knew more about what I didn't want to do than I wanted to do. And so it's that unknown that really makes you struggle. And so I just knew that I had to do something, but my son is grown, and he's not at home. And I just knew that I needed to find my purpose. I needed to find something that kept me busy. So I adopted 2 puppies. And I heard
them barking a little while ago, too, that's for sure.
and I took an obedience course, and I'd probably be better training your dogs than training mine because they don't listen to me at all. So I did that, but I knew, there's something else out there that I needed to do. And there were a couple things that I was really passionate about. And one of them is kids. One of them is education. And then mentoring. And I am a huge proponent of mentorship, always have been. But I knew that there was a prominent belief that I had that we as a society need to start mentoring earlier. To go to a high school kid and start talking to them about what you want to be, in my opinion, it's just too late. And so I wanted to start earlier, and I want to start in the elementary schools. And this was how part of why this nonprofit was birthed.
One of the things, I'm glad you brought that up. A couple of things here. One is I have a dog. I have a Shih Tzu, and it trained itself. When I got this dog, one day, I hadn't been there long and sitting by the door. I said, well, okay, maybe I want to go outside. I went to the bathroom. So it trained itself. It won't go in the garage. And every time it has to go to the bathroom, it just go sits by the door. Doesn't say anything. And if you don't mess with it too much, she'll start barking a little bit, and then you got to really run because she's going to make a mess if you don't go. The other thing is I want to tell you is that I always tell everybody you should have 2 or 3 mentors, maybe more. Get advice from one, maybe advice on a different subject from another one. But mentorship is really a great idea, and I wish the military did a lot more of that, especially when you get out of the service. Now, having said that, I think that a lot of veterans, retirees, now like yourself, they ought to use us on people getting ready to their transition. They ought to have a list of people and say, hey, I'll help one person or 2 people when they're transitioning out of the military. Because that's a tough transition. And you didn't talk about it, but I know I struggled a little bit. I'm not sure I was depressed. Probably didn't work for 3 or 4 months, and then I just threw myself into work. And I think sometimes you have veterans that get out to just sit on the couch and don't do anything. So it's just tough. It's just tough for them, that's for sure.
It is. And my community is very, very supportive here. And so that helped my transition. I jumped right into my church because, number one, my mother always told me that it's wonderful that you go and you serve your country, but when you're done, you come home and you serve your community. So that's always been something I knew that I had to do. And so that's why it was a little bit easier finding the service route for me. I had interviews with a couple of companies, but it didn't move me. And your second transition, your second half of your career has to be about what makes you passionate. And so it wasn't about going back to work for me. It was about finding how I could impact my community.
Well, the other thing is fitting into your community, because I'm sure you understand. You don't speak the same language. No. You know what I mean? No, you don't. You don't, no. And you really. I mean, you start. I know when I start talking to people, I'd say, "Hey, military stayed about 36 years," and they see, "Yeah, that's nice," and they turn and go the other way. And say, "Oh, I don't get around this nut," So,
right.
But it's. In fact, a lot of people that come on the show talk about just trying to find their tribe, where they fit in, what group of people you feel comfortable with. And I don't know, but I'm sure you have a tribe of people, or maybe officers or non-commissioned officers or whatever in your community that you probably feel more comfortable with.
Actually, it's my church family.
Are they military?
Some are. My pastor is Air Force, but he's a retired Air Force officer. And so...
do you speak different language than the Air Force people? Wait a minute. A little bit.
I think when you talk about leadership, though, it's the same language.
Oh, yeah.
And so, establishing his vision, I've been instrumental in just helping him help our church move forward. And so that's been very good for me. Because it keeps me very busy. I do all the financial management now in our church, and I run a couple of our ministries. And so I found my tribe. I found the people who really make being impactful important. And so I didn't have a problem with that. I grew up here. And so a lot of the people that I grew up with are still here. Now, we do talk a different language. That's okay. We've always been friends, and that's important.
I've got to tell you, I love telling the story. I had a couple of things. One is that I had a Bible when I was in Vietnam, and they give you this little pocket Bible, and you put it and you take it with you. And I got to be honest, I certainly believe in God. I think everybody that goes to war always gets closer to God, because I've said it a whole lot of times, God, if you just get me out of here, I'll never do it again. I've said that quite a few times. But I had this Bible that I've actually put in a 50 caliber can, opened it up, and I was there probably, I guess, a few weeks. I'm not sure what the length of time, and I opened it up, and on the second page, there was a blood print in that Bible. Now, that Bible had never been opened up, as far as I know. I'm sure evidently it had. And so I kept that Bible as a as a good luck charm, if you may. And I put it in my $50 can everywhere I'd go. I'd, look in there, and I, always made sure it was with me. So I stayed about 11 and a half months, and they, fly out in a helicopter and say, "Hey, Tilley, it's time to go, get your stuff." And so I grabbed all my stuff and got that 50 caliber can and got ready to leave, and the Bible was gone. And so I'm at 18 years old, and I think to myself, man, it's God was with me for that time in Vietnam. And my platoon was overran, 20 wounded and 7 killed.
Wow.
And so you sort of start piecing things together, and I really believe that in my lifetime that God's put a hand on me a lot of times and pushed me in different directions and said, no, don't do that. No, that's not a good idea. Of course, the other side, the devil's over there saying, wait a minute, come on back here.
Absolutely.
So I don't know. Hey, we need to take a quick break. When we come back, I want to talk about that nonprofit you founded and the children's feeding. So, I think that's a great topic. So stay right there. I know you're a good soldier. You'll stay right there. I'll be right back. This is Your Next Mission video podcast with me, your host, Jack Gill Tilley, 12th Sergeant Major of the Army. If you're enjoying this discussion, I know you are, because we're talking about leadership. We're talking about transition. We're talking about food insecurities. Please like us. Click on that subscribe button below. Be sure to click on the bell to receive notifications of our upcoming video podcast releases. I'll be right back after a word from my presenting sponsors.
You're watching Your Next Mission video podcast, proudly presented by Navy Federal Credit Union, the most trusted credit union owned by members of the military community, serving all branches of the armed forces and their families. Learn more at NavyFederal.org. Their members are the mission. Purdue Global. You're ready for a comeback, and with Purdue Global, you can do more than take classes. You can take charge of your story, of your career, of your life. Earn a degree you can be proud of and get an education employers respect. Start your comeback at purdueglobal.edu. And USAA.
A century ago, our founders made a promise to always take care of their own. That promise is still at the heart of everything we do, and why our members know we'll do what's right. Because at USAA, we take care of our own.
Now back to your host, the 12th Sergeant Major of the Army, Jack L. Tilley.
Welcome back. We're talking with Lieutenant General retired Donna W. Martin, founder of the President of Securing Our Children's Future. Before we get back to our discussion, I want to let you know about a way to support the work we're doing here on behalf of the veterans and families here at the American Freedom Foundation. If you have a used vehicle you're planning on getting rid of, or some property you don't have any plans for, you can donate it. Visit our website at americanfreedomfoundation.org/donate and click on that vehicle donation button or that home donation button to support our work. We really would appreciate your support. Ma'am, tell us about securing our children's future. What is it, and what inspired it? I mean, that's a great thing to do, but what inspired you to do that?
Sergeant Major, I came back and I just remember the stories my mother used to tell me. My mother would tell me these stories. In her later years, she passed away in 2019. But in her later years, she was a cafeteria worker, and she was that lunch lady that sat at the table while the teachers did their thing, and then they came back to get their classes. And then there were so many times when she would tell me that kids would come up to her and they would ask her for extra food. And she was like, okay, here's a sandwich or here's an extra piece of fruit or whatever. But she wanted to dig a little deeper and find out, like, why are you asking for more food? And as she got closer to these children, she realized that it was because they were going to go home on Friday and they may not have another meal until they come back to school for breakfast on Monday morning. And so she would always tell me these stories, and she actually even made this apron. She had a basic apron, and she would just sew these big pockets on it. And it was the ugliest thing you've ever seen. But the different sizes, it was so that she could put different food items in this apron. And she would go to the bus stop when these kids were leaving school on Friday. And the kids would just discreetly come up to her and she would hand them extra food, extra snacks, extra whatever she had until that whole apron was just empty. And she would continue to tell me these stories, and it broke my heart. And so here it is in 2025. I retire, I come back, and I'm going, is that still the same condition? Like, is it still this bad? And so I started looking at the statistics locally. And, across the United States, 13.7% of US households experience food insecurity. That's 18.3 million people. And so, in the military, when you see a problem, our very instinct is to go after it. Yeah, to go after it. So over 1 million people in Virginia face food insecurity. And what really got me is that about 261,000 of those are children. So that's our future, right? I mean, how does a child achieve when they're hungry? They don't focus on reading. They don't focus on education. They don't focus on the things that make them great because they're hungry. And it seems like such a simple thing, but it's a huge problem. And so I just want to make an impact. And so that's how securing our children's future started. But I didn't know any of how to do this. But you know what? I found out. I got a mentor. And my mentor runs one of the largest food pantries in Northern Virginia. Her name is Dr. Vanessa Gaddis. So shout out to her for what she's doing in Prince William County.
All right.
And so she is a tremendous asset. And I would tell anybody that if you're starting a business and you don't have that background, you need a mentor. And so Vanessa really helped me get this thing off the ground. I didn't know about logos. I don't know about branding. And she walked me through those processes. And now we have this wonderful logo. We have a beautiful website. And so now we're on our way. And we've raised quite a bit of money just this summer, just by talking to people and just showing them what the problem is and how, as a community, we can address this. I won't be able to I won't be able to feed every child in Hampton Roads, but I'm going to do it as much as I can. And so I'm starting a sustainable model. I'm starting 25 backpacks was the first beginning, but now we've raised enough to do 75 backpacks for the 36 weeks of school. And so I've got 3 schools, and I'll deliver 25 backpacks to them every single week.
I got to tell you something. This has been years ago. I've been doing something like that for a long time. But years ago, I was watching television. I think it said 50 million, but I could be wrong, or maybe it was 5 million. I'm not sure what the number was. It was but it was in the millions. And I was sitting there watching television. A commercial come up and it said, 50 million or 5 million. I think it's 50 million worldwide. And coming on TV and said that, and I said to myself, that can't be true. Yeah, that's unbelievable. And there's a school a couple blocks away from me. So I walked up to that school. I said, hey, look, could I talk to somebody about kids? And he's a principal. No, he's busy. Anyway, I finally got to a counselor. I said, is there kids here that go to school that go hungry during the weekends? And that's what I said. She said, yes. Well, tell me what you do. Well, how do you help them? See, we have the backpack program. I said, wow. And it really sort of broke my heart, because I got some little kids, So anyway, bottom line is, I won't tell you how much, but I bought some. I said, well, let me give you this money to help you out. So what I did was I ended up buying turkeys. I think about like 35 turkeys, and I just let it go. So anyway, fast forward here a little bit. Last year, we were able to feed like 10 schools, I think it was, and with the turkeys and stuff like that. And I got a group of people like yourself, and that's how it started, a little small, and it just keeps growing. but it's unbelievable. It really is. It's a shame. So, but anyway, that's my story. How does the backpack program? I'm actually working your community up there anyway.
It does. So what we do is, I originally said, I'm really active in my church. And so I run the women's ministry in our church. And so the women's ministry, we meet every Thursday, and we pack these 25 packs of really bags. And what happens is we deliver them to the schools on Friday, and then the schools discreetly identify these children, and they really just stuff these bags into their existing backpacks. And we do that. But there's other components to securing our children's future too that I should let you know about. And one of those is improving literacy rate. We want to tackle the food insecurity piece, but we also want to tackle literacy. And so, our teachers work so very hard. But what we do is we supplement them. So we'll go into an elementary school classroom, and we'll read with kids. More importantly, we let them read to us. No judgment, just reading out loud. And it's amazing. What we're trying to do is measure our impact by the improved literacy rates in the community. So we're going to focus on literacy too. And we're also, the third part of this is mentorship, because Sergeant Major, you and I both know that if you tell a kid what they can be, and then you give them the resources to be it, they can do it. All you got to do is ask a young kid to dream. What do you want to be? Is such a simple conversation to have with a young child. But what they tell you is amazing. I want to be an astronaut. I want to be a pilot. Right. They have great dreams. But if they're hungry, they can't focus. And so we want to take away one part of that equation that doesn't belong in a child's life, and that's hunger. And so we're going to tackle that real hard.
Well, I'm sure you're going to go nationwide here pretty quick. You make me think about a lot of things. First of all, your mother was a great role model for you. I was sitting there thinking, she led by example. Mm-hmm. She showed you what to do. The other thing I'll tell you that when I was growing up, I used to lag for quarters to get lunch money to eat. Mm-hmm. And so it's been around for a long time, and I think we ignore it. But shame on us for not doing something about it. We need to do something about that. And we need to, as a nation, I know a lot of people do a lot of stuff, but really the way to fix it is right there in the local communities.
It is.
And, if one person or two, if you can help one family or two families out, you're making a difference in the lives of so many people. And then the last thing is, I used to try to find out when I was still on active duty how many active duty young soldiers go hungry or struggle a little bit, and I never could get any numbers of that. And I don't know as the IG if you ever looked into that problem, but we have those food problems within the military too that we try to address. But it's just. We got to do a lot better job about educating young adults about life, I guess, in general.
I think you're right, Sergeant Major. I'm very fortunate. I live right outside of Fort Eustis. And so lots of young military families. And one of the reasons, not just, my mother was at Catherine G. Johnson, which is the name of the school now, but a lot of military families go to that school. So I think that kind of moved me in that direction as well, because I knew a lot of our military families go to Catherine G. Johnson. So that was good. But you talk about the community approach. When I was little, I grew up, I was in one of those food insecure families. Now, I never knew what that was because our mother moved heaven and earth to make sure that we had food. But it meant, the difference between her having two jobs, and not spending a lot of time with us so that we could eat. But we were, as children, we were the recipients of those food baskets, that kindness from the community. And that's why I have to give back, because I have been so blessed over 36 years of service. And I tell you, if no one gave me a dime to donate toward this cause, I would do it anyway, just like you did. I would still do this because this is what I've been called to do.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think most military people, they want to continue to help in any way they can. They want to get out there now because they see what right looks like. You
That's
know what I
right.
mean? They've been all over the world. They really, when you go all over the world and you see different countries and stuff, you come back to our country and say, look, we've got the best country in the world. We just got to do a little bit of helping here a little bit. So let's help each other out. Oh, bless you for what you're doing and keep it up. And I'll tell you this probably a couple times before you get off the show. If I can ever help you, please let me know. We'd certainly love to help you in any way we can. We need to take another quick break. When I come back, I want to talk about how you're building this to last and your work of mentoring for the next generation of officers. So, ma'am, I know you're a good soldier. Stay right there. Don't go anywhere. I'll be right back. Now, here's a word from one more of the organizations that help make this show possible.
You're watching Your Next Mission video podcast, brought to you in part by Blue Cross Blue Shield FEP Dental, Blue Cross Blue Shield FEP Vision.
Quality insurance will set you up for the rest of your life. And I think that's what Blue Cross and Blue Shield has demonstrated for decades.
It adds to your longevity of life because we want to be there for our loved ones. We want to be there for our family.
Now back to your host, the 12th Sergeant Major of the Army, Jack L. Tilley.
Welcome back. We're blessed to be here today with Lieutenant General Retired Donna W. Martin, founder and president of Securing Our Children's Future. Remember, this is your show. We know there's so many issues that directly affect you, and we want to address each and every one of them. So please, let me know what you'd like us to cover. You can leave me a message at 844-241134 or send me an email at smatilley@yournextmission.org. And guess what? I'll reach back out to you. Ma'am, you said sustainability is your biggest focus. How are you building this to last?
So, Sergeant Major, the worst thing I think you can do is be so excited that you jump out there and you do great big things and you're not able to sustain them. So the worst thing I could do is get these kids excited about having these weekend backpacks and then not be able to fund it next year. So we're starting small. I'm working with local community leaders. I'm partnering with schools. I'm right now talking to the sheriff departments because that's my bailiwick, right? Talking to law enforcement about.
Tell them you can help them out a little bit there. You got the contacts.
That's right. So, and it's all about the network because there's retired police officers who are military. And they're going, oh, we can talk to the former Provost Marshal General of the Army. And so I'm using that connection. And so we have this program that I found out through my mentor that they do in Loudoun County called Stuff a Cruiser. And so I'm working with 2 police departments right now to continually stuff cruisers. They're willing to partner with us and park their cruisers outside of a supermarket. And then I have flyers and I have posters, and we're going to just work the crowd. Police officers are out there. The crime dogs are out there. McGruff is out there. He's still a big hit out here. And so we're going to draw a crowd to help us fill these cruisers with canned goods, non-perishables, so that we can store them in our food pantry at our church. We are working other programs too. I'm working with the food banks here. They want to partner with us as well in order to just have a broader reach. And so sustainability is so important. And it is just one of the things I stay awake at night. I'm looking for that sponsor, that one sponsor that will just, continually help us keep this program running. And I know that's going to come because I know I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. So I know it's going to come, and I know that I can build this program to keep it last, to make it.
Well, you got to get as many people involved as you can. It sounds like you're doing already. I got to go back to me now. I play golf. I shouldn't tell you this, but I play golf Monday, Tuesdays, and Thursdays. I love to golf. But one day I'm out there golfing, and I talked to the guy that runs a program. I said, I'm going to try to help some kids during Thanksgiving. It's too bad we can't, get some food and maybe you can help me. He said, oh, wow, what a great idea. So we finished. Time I went up there, he made an announcement, okay, I want everybody to bring in cans of food. And so all these golfers, oh yeah, they did it for like 2 months. They just kept bringing food in and I kept taking it. So, but it's a lot. It just makes you feel good to help people.
It does.
I've heard this so many times, a little act of kindness goes a long ways and it'll come back to you too. So, God's always looking at you, say, hey, is he doing anything down there that I'm watching you? You better be doing something down there. So, and I understand you're also the chairperson to ROCKS Incorporated. Tell our audience about that. What's the mission there?
So ROCKS is a fantastic organization. It's a U.S. Army program that's for mentorship. Everybody needs a little help. When you're a junior officer or a young civilian in the Army, how do you plan that next step? How do you know what's the next right thing for you? One of the things you got to do is you got to find a mentor. The purpose of the ROCKS is right now, we are really focused on our refresh. So the ROCKS has been around for about 50 years. And so we have had to evolve, technologically. We have a brand new website. I am so excited about this website. It is so good because it talks to people about who we are, what we do, and where we're headed. And so I want you to go visit the website. It's www.rocksinc.org. And it is just full of information about how you find a mentor, how you can also be a mentor, because senior leaders also have a responsibility to mentor the next generation of Army leaders. And so we want you to come to the ROCKS and we will hook you up. We have an algorithm that runs through a program called CHAMP, and it will find you a mentor. It will find you a mentee that have similar interests. And it's just a fantastic movement right now. I've got a very active board of directors that is just phenomenal people to work with. And we are going to move this mission forward because it's also a mission about service. And most of the board members are retirees, and they have a story to tell. They have an experience to give, and they're all willing to do it. And so we're really excited about the ROCKS. I've been there since about January of this year. And my predecessor, Brigadier General retired Larry Gillespie, he said, you're going to do something for the ROCKS every single day. And I said, no, I'm not. But yes, I do. Every single day I do something for the ROCKS every single day. Yeah. And I got to tell you, I love it. When I see the connection and I see the excitement of our junior officers about serving, it fires me up, Sergeant Major. That's what I want to be doing too.
Well, one of the things we don't do very well sometimes, I think, is once we get out, we don't coach and teach because, if you look in the Army, it's just a big circle. This is a great idea. And we just go back to ground zero all the time. We're always coming back to, they did that 20 years ago. It's probably, well, maybe it does work, So, yeah, that's good stuff. The other thing is having a mentor is good for therapy too.
Oh.
Because, especially when you're trying to find somebody to talk to and somebody that, again, somebody may understand exactly what you're going through. I've told people a lot of this. When I got out of Vietnam years ago, I had anger issues for about 2 to 3 years. I really struggled. And quite frankly, I didn't have anybody to talk to. And simply by the grace of God, I was able to talk to my wife, I guess, a little bit. I'm glad she just didn't kick me out, but talk to my wife and talk to people around me. But I worked through some issues, and I had some people around me that obviously must have seen something in this old guy, but they helped me out a great deal. But you got to have a mentor. And then the last thing I'd say is that helping people out and doing something in your community or for our country is the right thing to do. And there just needs to be more people that are doing the kind of things that you currently do. So anyway, this has been a great discussion. I've got a hook on my neck back and say it's time to go, Samuel. But this has been a great discussion. And ma'am, just let us know if we can ever help you. So you got any final thoughts or anything you want to share with the audience that maybe you hadn't said already?
I absolutely do. Here's a couple lessons for all of my transitioning service members. Number one, keep learning. You know, I had no idea about starting a business or what it took to do that. Just keep learning. I take seminars, I do webinars, all kinds of things. It's got to be things that you're passionate about, because then you'll dive right into it and you'll not want to do anything else. That's when you know you're right. The second thing, keep moving. You know, because as old soldiers,
absolutely. Don't sit down. Don't
sit
stop in
down.
one place. That's
Don't,
right. Yeah,
don't stop. And so, I picked up pickleball. I am a fanatic, like every pickleball person my age does now. No serious injuries right now. And I hope I never get one. But I love playing pickleball. I make time for it. So I keep moving. You have to keep moving. And then I think the most important thing is, everyone can make an impact. And no matter how big or how small. So look into your community and find a way to help, because service is a part of our DNA, and you will feel so good if you continue to serve.
Oh, absolutely. I support that 100%. You have so much to offer. Life goes by too fast.
That's right.
I remember it seemed like yesterday I was 18, and I don't want to tell you what I am now, but it goes by quick. And I keep saying, man, where'd that time go?
No.
And every minute is precious, and every bit of time that you can do. In fact, my granddaughter, God bless her, calls my wife every morning at 7:30 or 7:45, and they talk every morning. And now she doesn't necessarily do it on Saturday, Sunday, but usually she calls her on Saturday, Sunday too. But they're good friends, and you gotta help. You gotta do what you can to help the people in your community and your family. The other thing is that a family is so important, and you got to make sure you do all for them, because there's so many young adults out there nowadays that struggle, and especially with all the stuff that goes on as far as drugs and alcohol and all that other stuff. It's just really tough, and I feel blessed, just like you, that I served in the military. That did so much for me to make me grow up. That's for doggone sure. Hey, look, if I had a drum roll, I'd give it to you, but I'll do it myself. What I'm going to do is, we are going to give you $2,500.
Oh, thank you so much. That is so wonderful.
Hopefully that's a way to help you out in just a small way. And we want to do what we can. And then, every once in a while, maybe come back, shoot us an email, say, hey, here's what I'm doing, here's how I've grown. And maybe we could come back on the show later sometime and just tell us what you're doing.
Yeah, please.
Certainly appreciate it.
Please
go ahead,
continue
man.
to check my website, and we'll put those impactful stories up, and we'll show you how well this organization is going to do.
Well, I think you can go to get those kids, and they can be subscribers for my podcast. Hey, come here, young man.
It will be a win-win. Absolutely.
Win-win. We're going for it. Hey, thanks a lot for coming on the show. God bless you. Keep up the good work. And again, I'm not just saying that. Let me know how we can help. Let me know how we can help. That's for sure. Thanks again to Lieutenant General Retired Donna W. Martin for being with us. What a great person, what a great personality, what a wonderful person to talk to today. I'm Jack L. Tilley, 12th Sergeant Major of the Army, and you've been enjoying Your Next Mission video podcast. Thank you for joining us. Log on to our website at yournextmission.org and check out our job board in partnership with Recruit Military at Upline, where you can create your own personal profile that will match you with just the right job, real time. You can follow me on my social media pages, Facebook, X, Instagram, YouTube, and LinkedIn. I never thought I'd ever say that. If you like what we're doing with Your Next Mission, please hit that subscribe button below. And don't forget to click on the bell to receive notifications about our upcoming video podcast. Remember, we want to hear from you. Please leave a message at 844-424-1134. Send me an email at smatilley@yournextmission.org. Thanks again to Lieutenant General Retired Martin for joining us today. Now, look here. I've said it a lot of times. We're not here on this earth just to do nothing. I want each person that's listening today, go to your community, go to one of your schools and see if they need some assistance. You see, this is our future. Our kids are our future. And if you're sitting back doing nothing and you're not helping in some way, shame on you. So I'd ask you to do one thing, like I said, again, go to one school and see how many kids suffer. See how many kids that maybe eat. on the weekends. Think about that for a second. Think about that if that was your child. This is our future. Kids are our future. Don't sit back and do nothing. Stand up and help. One school is all I'm asking. And if you help one school, shoot me an email and tell me what you did. Shoot me an email and say, hey, I got it. I'm going to help. Thanks for watching. Thanks to Bungalow Studios and, of course, our sponsors. Navy Federal Credit Union, Purdue Global, USAA, Blue Cross Blue Shield FEP Dental, Blue Cross Blue Shield FEP Vision. We appreciate all you do for our military. And as always, see you on the high ground. Hooah!
You've been listening to Your Next Mission, brought to you by the American Freedom Foundation. Learn more by visiting yournextmission.org.